All right, folks, it is Malzberg Panel time, and you know it, you love it. And joining us once again is our friend, former Congressman Pete Hoekstra from the great state of Michigan, former chair of the House Intelligence Committee. And we're also joined by Democratic strategist, former spokesperson for Vice President Al Gore, and president and founder of New Heights Communications, Christy Setzer. Hello, Pete and Christy.
Hey there, good to be here.
Good to be with you.
I almost said hello, gentlemen. Then it's like if I say hello, ladies and gentlemen, that's not good because there's only one lady. I'm all messed up. Anyway, all right, let's get right to it, Congressman, and start with what's going on in with Ukraine and Putin and all that. We just had Senator Ron Johnson on talking about the fact that he's right behind sending in the troops that we're sending. Of course, they're limited and they're there for training purposes, but he does believe we need to send more of a message, much more of a message to Putin that was serious about, at least, if nothing else, protecting our NATO allies.
Well, I think that's exactly right. You know, there's not a whole lot more that we can do. We've got our troops there. I wouldn't move them much closer to the Ukraine than what they are today. The Baltics, Poland, that is fine. Now we actually start talking about long-term strategies, installing the missile defense system in Poland, which was stopped 5 years ago, working with these countries that are pro-markets, they're pro-democracy, get their economy moving and get their economy to be less dependent on Russia. Encourage them with things like fracking, things that we can't do here in the United States, but let them to use those technologies, give them the insights to get their energy development moving full speed ahead.
Right. Well, Christy, of course, and we'll get Congressman's view on this as well, but that's why many people consider the announcement regarding the Keystone Pipeline on Friday not only a detriment to our economy and jobs, but also a terrible message to Russia and to those who might look to us instead of Russia for their natural gas needs and energy needs. We've just sent a big fat signal to don't look at us.
I'm not sure that that's what most people are considering when they think about the relationship of the U.S. to Russia. I think the president's in a bit of a difficult position, which is that on one hand, he does need to send a strong signal to Putin that, that we are strong here and that he can't just take over the Ukraine and make it, quote, new Russia, as apparently he's been talking about it as. On the other hand, there's clearly no appetite with the American people for sending more troops or, anything more aggressive that actually might send that message. So I think that I think some of the options that the congressman was talking about are smart ones, but as I said, the president's somewhat limited in some of the actions that he can take.
Congressman, with regard to Keystone, again, we could talk about the domestic ramifications, but and the nonsense that this still needs to be studied more. But what about the message it sends to Russia and those who might turn to us instead of Russia as a source of energy?
Well, strategically, Russia, led by Putin, they've made the decision. They're going to use energy to be a strong incentive, a strong driver of their economy. They're going to use it to influence foreign policy. So you have Russia that's using energy in developing energy resources, using it as leverage against Western Europe, against parts of the former Soviet Union. And here we have the United States moving down exactly the same path as Western Europe. We've got a war on coal. The president doesn't like fracking. So we've got a partial war on natural gas. We have the opportunity with the Keystone Pipeline to take Canada, the United States, and Mexico, make ourselves energy independent, make ourselves a dominant force in energy markets around the world. It will help strengthen our economy, and it will enable us to make sure that our allies who love democracy, who love free markets, to become independent of Russia.
Right.
Okay,
Christy,
so
I hear you.
Yeah, snickering, I guess. So there's a couple ironies in what the congressman's saying. One is that it's not as though President Obama has been such a strident opponent of the Keystone Pipeline. In fact, to the dismay of environmentalists, he's actually, been very middle of the road on this and taken sort of a very cautious, line of reasoning on it. Now, I think
Christy, he hasn't approved it. He's had years and years and years of study. The State Department study came back positive. Everything's come back positive. What do you mean he's been very middle of the road? One way or the other. Middle of the road equals Christy. Middle of the road equals delay. Delay equals being against it. If it's not getting done, then it's not getting done. You know what I mean?
Don't think it should
Either
get
it's done or it's
I'm
not.
one of those people that thinks that it shouldn't get done. It's been proven again and again that we're going to get maybe a temporary, very minimal boost of jobs and people who are actually creating the pipeline, but it does not actually do any sort of long-term good for the economy in terms of jobs. It does significant damage to the environment. So we know these things. So
That's
I think
absolutely
no.
That is absolutely
There's no
untrue.
proven detriment to the economy.
All right, Christy, let the congressman go in. Go ahead, Congressman.
Yeah, there's no proven detriment to the economy. The other thing is this oil comes in. It will be processed in the best and cleanest refineries in the world into all kinds of byproducts, which will be exported globally. They will have a positive impact. It's not just about the pipeline. It's about getting the raw ingredients into our industrial base, which will be processed and which will be exported, which will have a tremendous economic benefit, but also from a national security standpoint in helping our allies. It will be an awesome tool to strengthen the United States. The president hasn't been middle of the road. The president clearly has said all along, I'm going to do everything I can to delay a decision.
No, he hasn't.
Because by delaying a decision, it just
But Christy,
Christy,
we got to go. We'll come back after the break and change topics. But like I said, if you're not getting it done, if you're not saying yes, you're saying no. Saying we'll study it more is like saying no, it's not getting done, and it's been years. It's a joke, and even Democrats are up in arms about this in some circles. So it's just a radical leftist environmentalist. All right, well, you have your own reasons for opposing it. Don't go away, folks. We're coming back with more of the panel, and we're going to take a look at, in the congressman's own backyard, the great state of Michigan, the Supreme Court decision that affects the university there and beyond. That and more on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax Television.
We don't just talk about the news. We talk to those making news. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.